Oh, oh, hello folks. It has been a while. I've been a little busy, but working on it. By working on it, I mean everything and nothing. So, there's a fun little activity that I am working on here. These are the Wearing Goal cards, and they will fit just like that. I was running into some trouble, and by trouble I mean a good kind of trouble. Let me show you. So the first ink swatch collection I did is also a Wearing Goal book, and as you can see, the colors are all over the place because when I started this book, I only had 9 or so inks, so I filled them all in, filled in some more, filled in even more, had an accident over here, spilled a bunch. Yeah, so they're all out of order, and there's no way to quick reference them. So I thought to myself, I'll just put all the reds together, all the blues, all the blacks. You know, I'll get them all together. Well, I did not put like colors close to each other, so there shot that idea. And then I was like, I keep getting more ink, and I want to see a comparison because I know, for example, this Diamine Majestic Blue color is all over the place. It really is. I've got like 3, 4, 5 inks that are approximately that color. So which one's the most blue? Which one leans more indigo or purple? I currently don't know, which is why, if I'll draw your attention back here, I'm going to be doing these cards. And you can kind of see there's an outline here because you write here and you swatch here, and then this clear, slick coating should leave it in the shape of that ink drop that you can kind of see the light not reflecting off of in the middle. And then once they're dry, they're going to go in here. And this swatch book, it's kind of difficult to see there. You've got 3 rows, three to a column, I guess you could say. So I could have all 6, if there are 6, of the same color blue from different brands, all next to each other, and I can determine which one is the most blue, or the least blue, or the most majestic, as it were. Plus it's got a snap. That's nice. Anyway, the book, I think, holds a lot more than the cards I have. I have 50 cards here. I will be using, as you saw a little earlier, glass pen. This is a Jocker Bond glass pen. This is one of the inks I will be swatching. It is Johann Sebastian Bach by D. Atramentis, which is a small German manufacturer of fine inks. And it says it's ebony. It's more of a maroon than an ebony, to be honest. But we've got that. We've got, let me pull these around. A lot. We got a lot. I can throw this away. Yeah, it's just Wearing Goal ink drop color swatch. And they come in a bunch of different shapes that you can get. I think there's an elephant. I'm not 100%, but that's what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So, just got it in. Very excited to do it. So let's get inking. I'm going to try not to spill anything here. We're going to give Johann Sebastian Bach a little shake. Open her up. Okay. Ooh, look at how dark that is in there. Maybe it is kind of an ebony, but when I got the color, let's see, D. J. S. Bach. Nice. And you can see it's very, very dark on the page right now. It's almost the same color as this, I guess you could say, but I want to bring this into frame. You can't really see it. Okay. I need new cameras. I desperately need new cameras, especially this camera right here. They're the same camera, by the way. They're both Logitech. Not great cameras, but I've had them for a couple years and they served their purpose in the beginning, which was just basic hand cam. And I had a Logitech ecosystem, I guess you could say. And then I started getting into Corsair, which is a relative of Elgato. So I've got the Elgato Stream Deck. I've got a nice Corsair keyboard, etc. But let's get on. Let's see exactly how good this ink drop is. Okay, so I'm going to color that in. Then I'm going to get just a little more here on the outer edge. Again, swatching right around there. Cool. Okay. I don't think I can double use these. Maybe if I'm super careful. But I love this color. You can kind of see it's brownish. It's reddish brown. And it is a good reddish brown, let me tell you. I adore the color. I've got a diamond right here. Let's get another one. Flip this over. Well, let's put it under you for now. I will pull it back out. I just don't want to spill any ink. You can see it's starting to climb the thing here. I do not want it to mix. So let's give it a dip. Give it a swirl. This is Diamine Earl Grey. And Diamine Earl Grey has a nice purple leaning to it, I think. Let's get just a bit more of that ink in there. Cool. Now I've got double use out of it. Whew. That was pretty good. Okay. Give it a dip. we are getting some funky colors come out. I like it. I like it a lot. So let me pull Denaturamentus out again. Yeah. See, that's a very pleasant, complex red-brown. And it almost, at the bottom here, looks black. Or off-black, we'll say. We'll say off-black. Because it's not black. It's just a little off. The Diamine Earl Grey has got some odd brown coming through that I am not really familiar with, but it's cool. It looks a little more tea-like, I think, with the brown and the gray, as opposed to normally it's just like a dark gray. So we've got two. Cool. How do I think I should probably just push these up for now. Bring them back out and compare them a little bit. I don't think I have a lot of time. See, it's 5:12 where I am, and I need to be in bed by 6. Okay. Let's do these two. So I have in my possession 2 Kuretake inks. These are Kuretake, yes. Yes, Kuretake. This is Ebicha, and this is Kurogane Hiro. And I have swatched these two before. Those two, I'm not so sure. These two I've swatched before, but we're putting them on the cards. These are also very complex inks, and you'll see them shading. You might see some odd colors pop out, like the Kurogane Hiro especially has green and blue elements both. And it's a really, really deep teal. Fascinating ink. And this one, another red-brown. I love browns. I love red leaning browns specifically. I think it's a great color. Great combo. If you've got a favorite ink color, let me know. Ooh, it's going on so dark. So dark. I also appreciate that the size of this is enough that it really runs off of the brush. The brush. This isn't a brush. This is a... not a toothpick. It's not a toothpick either. What is this? And the only bad thing, I think, about these inks, these Kuretake inks, is they come in such a small container. Like, I would really appreciate having more ink. Oh, that's so rich. Que rico, que rico. Yeah, I love the swirl that I accidentally started doing. I think it is fantastic. But yeah, these bottles are very short. Very, very short. I filled maybe twice with each one, and it's already like a third of the way empty. It's crazy. Kuretake. Ebicha. Dip, dip, dip. I have 2 glasses of water off screen because this is not big enough for hardly anything. You may not be able to see it, but this is also stained blue from, what you call it? Noodlers. I am never buying another Noodlers anything again. Ooh. Kurogane Euro is really long. I don't know if it's two words or one word. We're going to go with one word. Sorry, 2 words. I say one thing, I do something totally different. Well, there it is. Alright, the Kurotakis. Yeah, I don't know how much you can see, but this thing is like, that's the fill already. The fill is down there. Okay, let's get this one first because we don't have anything to compare it to. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing. It's got some red in it. It's a great teal. It's off black again. Love using that term too. Off black. It's like off white, but much cooler. If you have good paper in your office, this would be a good one to put in it, your ink pens. If you're using fountain pen ink. We've got Ebicha. You can see there's just a hint of like teal in there as well. I accidentally touched that, but it's kind of dry. It's kind of dry right now. That's pretty awesome. And this is off black as well, in a reddish brown direction. Let's look at the Atramentis compared. Ooh, they're close. Ebicha has more red, and the Atramentis is a wetter ink, as you can see. Ebicha is a little drier, and the Atramentis JS Bach also is feathering a bit, it looks like. Yeah, so very lubricated, I guess you could say. Very, very lubricated. Let me see if I can find some other interesting things. We've got some reds and some red browns. Let's go with a Did I have? I do have, yes. Okay. I have to very carefully extract. So we're going to do some wild ones. This one is Mont Blanc Amethyst Purple, and this is a tonal in limbs number 8. Leaves Fall Down. This is the only yellow in my collection. Hello, Wildberg Upward. Welcome. Let me bring up that. And let's shrink a bit. Awesome. Welcome in, yes. Welcome, welcome. Just doing some ink swatches. Yes, Leaves Fall Down, the only yellow in my collection, and you can argue that this is an orange. Did I delete the Discord? I cleared out a bunch of stuff in the Discord. It's not all the way deleted, but I have saved some, what you call it? Like the channel that had my various timeline and accomplishments. Not that I accomplished very much. But yeah, the Discord is no longer discording. Discord no longer discording. It just wasn't a point anymore. I did also remove all links to the Discord. So it's no longer discoverable. I figured, well, it's been quiet for a very long time, so I may as well just put it out of its misery. Ooh, that's going to be lovely. It does look very jewel-like, doesn't it? It's about time for a new one of those. Just going to write number 8 on this one. Well, the leaves fall. That works. Thank you, thank you. Have a good night. We'll see you around another time. It's a great orangey yellow, isn't it? Very legible, easy to read. Nothing much to compare that to. We have our Mont Blanc amethyst purple, a very rich color. Comparing it to the red brown. Ah. It's another one that's black adjacent, perhaps. Perhaps we can call it black adjacent. Not quite off black, but close. I have been looking for this kind of goldenrod yellow for a very long time. What's next? pull a couple sailors. Why don't we? You can see there's a blackish one and a bluish one. This is Nioi Sumire. Nioi Sumire, smell of something. And this is Shikiori Doyo, which is supposed to be a brown, but it is, for all intents and purposes, black. Not even off black, just black with a slight leaning toward brown. Very slight. But these cards are a different kind of paper that I'm not used to. So maybe they will do it justice. But these inks are very, very good for using on cheap copy paper at work. So let's give this a go. Ooh, that's very, very blue, isn't it? Let's give it some more darkness around there. Okay. It's funny because these are supposed to be some of the best lubricated, but they're also the best behaved on cheap paper. Some of the best, I should say. Some of the diamine flavors are also very well behaved, very well behaved. So this is Sumire. It's a nice indigo. Very purple leaning. I can kind of see some brown in this one. Ink swatching this is going a lot faster than the other one. Possibly because they're smaller. Possibly because they were better contained, like the paper really absorbs in that ink, and maybe also because there's less ink in general. We are cooking right along. Let's show you the, oh yeah, you can see it right in the middle there is the off brown. And then the rest of it looks very black, doesn't it? Almost has no color at all, as far as black goes. Or brown. Ouch. It's feathering a little bit around the drop, but it's not feathering on the writing, which of course is the more important part. Here we have Shikiori Nioi Sumire. You can see again they used a red. Oops, there we go. A red to darken the blue a bit. It's a very pure tone, I think. Look at how blue that is, oh my goodness. It's not normally this blue, it's normally a bit more indigo, I would say. We've got a purple one here that we can compare it to. Mont Blanc versus Nioi Sumire. Very clear difference. This one frustrated me first because I was looking for a much more pure blue, I will say. Not as purple leaning, but it's grown on me over time, and it really helps that it responds well on cheap paper. That's really been its salvation here. What else have I got? That might be good to compare. We've got some lammies. So here we've got lammy dark lilac, which is a sheener. And we've got lammy sepia or sepia. Pretty good quality. Fairly inexpensive for how large it is. And definitely stuck. There we go. Okay. Come on. Ooh, crisp. Okay. We're going to get this so we can compare some purple here. Ooh, that looks black. Just gonna give it a little more juice there. There's almost so much that I could not give it any more juice. This one, however, has thinned out quite a bit. So I would say this is very juicy. And this is a bit drier comparatively. Moving right along. Oh, don't close it early. We still haven't written. I'm gonna get some crazy sheen off this one. You can see the green from there. Oh my goodness. That was an interesting sound. Goodness. Look at how green that is. Again, how shiny. You get a lot in the lettering as well. Let's compare it to our Mont Blanc. The purples are very, very similar, but obviously the sheen over here is taking over quite a bit, and on different paper that does not sheen as much. So like standard copy paper, the Lamy is a lot darker looking than the Mont Blanc, which is cool. And then we've got our Lamy Sepia. Beautiful red, brown. Emphasis on the red for this one, though. Let's look at Kuretake Ebicha. Much darker. Let's look at De Atramentis J.S. Bach. Again, much darker. More brown, more red, orangish even. Maybe this is an orange brown. Anyway, it's delicious. Very, very delicious. How long have I been going? 37 minutes. Let me see what I can do here. I can finish off the Lamys. Lamy turquoise, Lamy green. This is, I think, the best color of green in any fountain pen ink that I've found. And this is a great turquoise. There are a lot of good turquoises. This just so happens to be the turquoise that I have. And green came after a very, very long search. So let's get 2 more. I'm going to finish off the Lamys, and then I think I'm about a pretty good stopping point. Slide these over. I can kind of separate them on my shelf. So, this screen is also quite dry compared to some of the other things, and it does not bleed very much. There's a lot of ink in there, in that lid. Good gracious. Okay. It barely picked up at all. Look at how thin that is. This one squeaks as it's going. Both of them very dry. I should try this one again at work and see. This is Lamy. Green. Lamy turquoise is feathering outside, so maybe I should hold off on Lamy turquoise. I should try it. No, I should try it. I'll get back out the Lamy family. Icy Pebbles, what's up? Long time no see. It is another stream, and well, I tried to get back to it before. It didn't really work. And then I was like, well, maybe I could try again. Because I just got these new cards, and I was like, let's do it. Now, I want you to know I started working on art again, and if I can get the art going more, then I can work on music more and get something going from there. But it's been a little discouraging just trying to get started. Yeah, so I got a new art set up. In other words, a tablet with a stylus. Not in range of the camera, it's actually downstairs in my work bag, because I was proving today that I could work on art during breaks at work. It's kind of washed out on the camera, this Lamy green. Also, I wish my camera did not constantly redo, but you can see how gorgeous that turquoise is too. Let me get out the Lamys. Got those two. Here's a Lamy sepia. Yes, the main thing indeed is getting on it and staying on it. And for 1.5 to 2 years, I was on top of it. And then I just got a little discouraged and poof. But I'm getting back to a more stable place, so we'll see what I can produce. Maybe I just go slow, ease into it. Yeah. Yes. Very good for ink swatching. Waringall. I think it's German. A German company. I could be wrong. But Waringall makes ink, and Waringall makes this kind of stuff. And let me dig it out. Oof. They also have a swatch book. So I can put these cards in here and compare my blues, or my reds, or my browns, because I've got a lot of brown ink. It's a very clever idea. Plus, portable, and if I just need to reference specific shades, let's say I'm looking for a new yellow, I can pull up my yellow page in here and see I only have one yellow, and it's kind of orange. Or what about the blues? I need to look at these blues and see if a third blue would fit better. Yeah, so this is the third type of ink swatching or ink sampling. It is very. I went to an ink store called the Gentleman Stationer, and they had ink swatch books for all of their inks, but I did not have mine, so I had to guess. I had to guess if this color would fit with this and this color would not. I guessed very correctly on 2 of the 3 or 4. Like, obviously, I only have one yellow. Cool. Diamine Earl Grey. It's got slight brown leaning. It's gray. On some purple, some paper, purple pops out on Earl Grey here. Yeah, I had to guess on some of the others, and I ended up, again, this royal blue looks a lot like the Sailor Shikiori. Unfortunate, I should have got, sorry, this is majestic blue, I should have gotten royal blue. But it's a good ink, and eventually I'm going to get through these 40 or so ink bottles. Crazy. Crazy. Yes. But, I am definitely, I have always been like, man, I should get back to streaming. Yeah, I should get back to streaming. Because all I do when I'm not streaming is watch YouTube, listen to other people do ASMR, and doom scroll on Twitter. Yes, if I write enough. Let me show you a thing. Down here. Oh. I have also been trying out notebooks. Let me scoop these up. I imagine they're dry by now. Yeah, I have been filling up notebooks like crazy. And watercolor, yes. I still need to get into watercolor. I haven't really. I've been writing a lot, and I've refined my writing a bit more even than it was. But yeah, if I have specific notes that I need to keep track of, I do something like X's on either side, and I kind of carve a path. So this one I look at later. This is notes about starting a rough sketch in art. I have a couple inspirational quotes here. The crossing out hurts your soul. So the way I organize it, it's not pure organized, but the left side is just random stream of consciousness. I'll be watching a YouTube video about some guys going through a cave, and I'll be like, oh man, that rock looks pretty. And it's just to, you know, test my writing, so to speak. By the way, look at the colors on this one. Man, that looks great. Yes, so on the left side of the pages, I do random musings. On the right side, I save it just in case for an inspirational quote, a note about something I'm working on. Yes. So it's physical paper instead of, you know, voice notes or whatever. And people say it's therapeutic. I guess it is. I don't journal per se. I just write random stuff. But, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of pens inked. That one was a Sailor pen. This is Graf von Faber-Castell. I've also been working on I've been working on my pen grinding, so I can now repair my own pens, or if I get one that's defunct, I can fix it. Here's a crazy one. Ooh, look at that. My power's flickering. How sparkly and shiny that is. Look at the top. This is abalone shell. Seashell that's been crushed up and lacquered over with urushi lacquer. And I got a custom nib as well. See the dragon? There it is. There's a dragon on the nib. Yeah, I've got two really good ones. This one and this one. Recently, they're both urushi lacquer. This one is Japanese, Sailor. This one is called Mr. Cypress Windswept Lily. And actually, the Sailor writes better, but the Windswept Lily looks amazing as well. But neither one of them have pocket clips, so I can't take them to work and use them, which I'm not sure I should be either, because both of them individually were $800 US. They are the top of my collection, actually. Ancient artifact. This one also, speaking of ancient artifact, it retails for $1,200 US, or something like €1,000, and it is made out of volcanic rock, crushed up and made into a resin. Visconti Homo sapiens. I finished collecting, actually. Like this one is the end of my collection so far. And anything else I get, I don't know that it will top this. Because after this point, like, this is the best craftsmanship you can get, I think. I mean, Sailor makes some that are like $40,000 or $50,000, you know, 35 to 45,000 euro. Mont Blanc makes some that are $150,000, $300,000, $600,000, like diamond encrusted. I don't need diamond encrusted. Nobody needs diamond encrusted. This, however, took a lot of time and effort. Many layers of lacquer, and the lacquer takes several weeks to set. So they lacquered it, left it for a couple weeks, came back, lacquered again, left it. Did some decoration, left it for 2 weeks, crushed up the shells in this pattern and inlaid them, lacquered again. Yeah. This is the top. This is the absolute best I think one can get. And it was not my most expensive pen, which is kind of crazy. The Sailor was. This one was close, though, because I also got it with a gold nib, and the price of gold is just crazy right now. But after this, I was like, what else do I have to get? Pens are unique, but I've got so many different brands. Mr. Cypress from Taiwan. I've got Pelikan from Germany. I've got Ban-A from Japan. They don't make these anymore because the two people that used to make them are not in business anymore. Graf von Faber-Castell, you saw a Pilot, a little pocket pen. It becomes a normal size pen when you tap it. Yeah, I was, after getting that one and this one, I really wanted an urushi lacquer that was a deep, dark red. Yes. A lot of them I hunted for a very long time for. And then those two, I waited until I got my tax return. I always overpay through the year so that when I get my tax return, there's a big chunk of money. And there was a big chunk of money, several $1,000s. And I used it to finish out my collection, and the pens are done, I think. I did have someone give me an extra pen after that, but it's a much cheaper version, and that was given, that wasn't purchased. But I was looking at it like, yeah, I don't know, what else could I possibly get that I don't already have? I'm very grateful to have been able to collect, and I got so many good used pens. And I learned so much about manufacturing and adjusting the nibs through this process. So now I'm like, well, if I can help somebody else, I will. But other than that, I'm retiring from the pen collection. The pen collection game. I guess I can take some of these that are outside and put them up here. Because how many pens does one need? I have like 45. And most of them are pretty high quality. I wouldn't say they're all like $800, but a good chunk of them are over $100. $300 to $400, you know. I think the sweet spot for fountain pens, if you're looking for really good quality, is like $150 to $300, and if you're looking for exceptional top of the line, it's like $400 to $800. And then beyond that, it's like, I really want that one kind of thing. Like, my favorite author is Ernest Hemingway, and Mont Blanc has an Ernest Hemingway pen for $3,000 US, 2,500 euro. Writing a bunch more, yes. Hundreds of notebooks, no. This might hurt you again, but I'm going to mass harvest a number of notebooks that are already finished and just extract the saved bits of information. So like I've got dozens probably of inks that I wanted to try. And lucky for me, there are so many stores that sell little ink samples that you can see there's some more blues in there that I'm going to try. Yeah. And I've got a whole, let me make sure this isn't going to spill out if I pick it up. Yeah, there we go. I've got this whole tray full of ink samples that I have yet to use up. So I'm going to be using those up. And then I'm going to be probably bringing my ink pen friends samples from my ink bottles with those. I've got some ink bottles over there that I want to sell. I've got them over here that I want to gradually use up over, I don't know, 40 years. Yes, chemistry is a great way to think about it. There are, all the majestic blue is not. There are so many different kinds to try. Diamine itself has thousands of different colors. Just one company. And they're good quality. British, by the way. And then you've got things like D. Atramentis, German. But he is a specialty. I think this is just one guy making ink. And he makes ink all day, every day. That's his job. And he ships them out all over the world. You can buy some of his handcrafted ink that he makes after famous composers and stuff. Johann Sebastian Bach, one of my favorites from that era. I think it was the classical era. JS, yes. Before classical, this was, no, Johann Sebastian was his son. Johannes? No, that's Brahms. Anyway, I remember more of the music than I do about history at this point, but there's all sorts. And this one, a little, in collaboration with Sailor, they said. But I think it's, Korean ink. Someday I will go on a fountain pen tour of Asia and Southeast Asia and visit places that make ink and get some for myself. But it's going to be like Japan and South Korea. Is it Vietnam or Thailand? Cambodia. There's a couple of them. Taiwan. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's like Taiwan has all of the old imperial style. I mean, that's what this one was. It's Taiwan. They would do stuff like this for the emperors, and they preserved the art style. Of course, the Japanese also made it their own and have their own stuff, but the Japanese is usually quite a bit more, shall we say, less wild and free and more refined, maybe? Anyway, I rambled for a long time. This is a great start, though. I got 12. Yes, calligraphy, let me tell you. Let me tell you a thing about calligraphy. The best that you can pick up is a pilot parallel. You see it's skinny on this side and thick on this side. They're very easy to clean. All you have to do is pop that out and run it underwater. You can even see the fins here for the ink collector, and then you just pop it back in and it's done. To refill, you can pop a cartridge in the back here, or you can pop a converter. You can refill cartridges if you want, but these are really cheap. Pilot Parallel. They've got like 6mm on the tip, if that will focus. Hello? Hello? There it is. They've got different millimeters now. The 6 is really, really big. The size I was able to practice the best with is the 2.4mm, and you will find it in this yellow-orange color. You can see it's quite a bit smaller, but still very wide compared to the narrow edge, if this will actually focus. Come on. You got it wrong again. There we go. You can see the light reflected there. How skinny that is. Yes, so these are really cheap compared to a lot of the others. They function just like a fountain pen, and it's very, very easy. Yeah, there's a converter. You can see the converter, you just twist that up and down, whatever, pops out. This one has little balls in it. You can kind of see the little balls sliding back and forth to help agitate the ink so it doesn't get stuck in there. It doesn't dry out in there. And something I would recommend So for the Pilot Parallels, if you're getting ink cartridges for less mess, they take Pilot proprietary cartridges. They do not take any other type of cartridge, so make sure if you get cartridges, you're going for Pilot. If you want ink, you can get any of these inks and put them in the converter. But I wanted to also give you a recommendation. Here we go. The Art of Calligraphy, a Practical Guide to the Skills and Techniques by David Harris. This specific book is still for sale. I think it was printed in 1993. But I like it because it's got illustration like this. You can kind of sort of see the hand up here. And it will tell you about the calligraphy style you're learning. It will have plenty of examples. It will have like this blown up stuff. And then on the very next page, it will teach you stroke by stroke how to do each of the calligraphy styles. And this is for Western calligraphy. You can rewind the stream and get the notes for what this is, but like, we don't really make G's like this anymore, do we? This is G, F, G. Weep, weep. But if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see, if you close this off and follow the tail, it's a modern G. Just, it's straight there instead of making a loop. And then this loop curls around a bit more. But he explains also, he explains also over here, like how to hold the pen, what angles to hold it at. Linkages with letters, this is E and X combined. This one down here is E and T. But you can see the T crossbar is a little shorter, because the E sticks out above the line. This is a, well, they didn't use lowercase and uppercase like we did back then. That is a relatively modern invention. And then he's got brush strokes again. But I wanted to show, he's got a glossary of terms, Roman capitals, which are the basis of our modern capital letters in English specifically, but many other languages that have this kind of thing share it. And let me show you. He has a side-by-side comparison, a quick reference guide to all of the scripts that you learn. And he did his research. If one of these letters was not present in the original, then he does his best at a modern interpretation. Like, for example, this is a long S. So we have our short S's, and sometimes there's no short S. We've got a T, or sometimes there's no long S, sometimes there's no short S, like here. So they only use the form of long S, which actually looks a lot like an R, like a lowercase r that's a lot taller. And this long S you can actually connect over into the next letter a lot of the time. Also the R, he's got alternate R's sometimes. Like right here, it's very small, but you would put this on a rounded letter. So OR would look like a circle with a half R next to it, and they called it the half R a lot of the time. Like the long S down there with the pregnant belly. He also, close to the end, gets into the American styles of calligraphy. So he starts with European. And then the American style copper plate is fantastic. As you can see, very loopy, very elegant, but this is used with a pointed pen that flexes. Linaria. Yeah. And he tells you, like, how to make the letters and where to start and how to use the pressure on it. Yeah. Fantastic book. Highly recommend. You can find it on Amazon pretty easy. David Harris. A pointed pen that flexes. I am so glad you asked. Let me see. So this is an example of a modern flex pen. This is an Aurora 80. I think it's an 88. This is going to be difficult to show. There we go. So, do you see how the point here is a lot longer? If you press on it, let's see if I can. Is it going to show up? Yeah. You see how the nib spreads out a little bit and then pinches me. It's tight together there, and if you press down, the nib spreads. That actually produces a wider line when you press down on it. So these are, I think, a little more difficult to use, but let's see, there's that one. Here's this one. But you can get a cheapo like this. So just pull out a random one here and hope for the best. Yeah. So you put that nib in there. So this is just a dip pen. So literally all you do, come on, focus. All you do is you dip it in the ink. See how that spreads? Yeah, the nib widens. But I can kind of sort of demonstrate it here as well. Give me just a sec to return all of this because I am definitely going to forget. That other calligraphy style, the European, is almost all done with either a flat paintbrush or a quill. Speaking of quill, I bought goose feathers and made my own quills. I'm not very good at it. But this one's not cut yet. It's a regular feather. But you have to boil them in water, sometimes salt water, to make them harder, all sorts of stuff. But let me do a thing here. Oops. Because I have a semi-flexible nib. That was the American contribution. This is a flat nib, so I can do a little flat nib work. And then, which one of these is a little bit flexible? This one. Okay. Wow, those are wet. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Ooh. Okay, come on. So you see, they kind of look similar, where they've got thick and thin spots. You can see the thick down here with that sweep out on the bottom of the T, and the middle part of that N. And over here, it's technically a single point, a sharp point. What do I call it? Pointed. It's a pointed nib, but if I press down a little harder, you see the crossbar of the X there versus the sweep up. See the thickness of this downstroke on the back of the B and how thin it is over here on the way up. And the L is a good example. You can see the connector going in there is very small compared to the thicker one. So I press down a little harder, and that spreads the tines out a bit, and that makes a wider line. Starting to drop some frames. Sorry if I zip out. But both of them look cool as frick. And this is just, I actually prefer the flat nib, because you don't have to think about like pressing down harder or not. But yeah, maybe I can show it a little better here, maybe. Anyway, I gotta go because it looks like the computer is about to kick me off the internet. Highly recommend all of you who are interested in learning calligraphy. I learned a lot. I still have a lot to practice, but I've learned a lot, and I can do a lot. Yeah, it's true. Well, they both get pretty good control, because the flat nib you will always hold at a certain angle. Like for me, it's 45 degrees off of straight. So if this is straight here, I will hold my nib at 45 degrees. And that gives me great flourishes. It means my connectors for cursive are very thin because it's the thin part, but the thick part is in the meat of the letters, and so you get a lot of variation that way. On the other hand, I do have a marker, I think, that does flexible. Is that here anywhere? I have it in my work bag because I was doing calligraphy, but there is a marker that's really cheap that you can get instead of the flexible nib pens or whatever, because the cheapest flex nib I have ever seen on a regular pen that actually works, it's a company called Blue Do. It's either Vietnam or Korea. They're a small manufacturer, and it's $150 US, or probably 115 euro, 120 euro, plus import fees, plus shipping. So, whatever that is from Southeast Asia to you. But I recommend that marker. I can't quite remember which marker it is. Get back with me later. And anyway, it's just great seeing you again, Pebbles. Great seeing the rest of you. And I will try to get back into something soon. We will see what's up. Pebbles, look that book up. You can learn to write real good. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what goes on. It's sleepy time for me too, actually. I should have been in bed like 10 minutes ago, because I've got to get up at 2:30 a.m. my time. Gross. Yes. See you next time.